Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second part of the lesson practice on page 283 in the middle of the page. This time we're going to start simplifying fractions. I know that's one thing that you guys have struggled with a little bit, or at least half of the class has struggled with a little bit, but we're going to try to simplify it here in this video to make things easy. Now, you'll notice that if you look in your textbook, there's actually two different ways that they show you how to simplify fractions. I'm going to encourage you to do it one way where you reduce the fractions first and then convert them if you're dealing with a mixed number or an improper fraction. Okay, but so it just makes your life easy, especially as we get to bigger fractions and bigger mixed numbers as the course continues, as we start doing some more algebra stuff. All right, so let's just look at this one first. All right, so in the middle of the page, again, we're going to start simplifying these fractions. Okay, so the first one we have 10 twelfths plus 10 twelfths plus 5 twelfths. Well, when we add fractions together, as long as they have the same denominator, we can add them together. In this case, we got lucky. They have the same denominator, so we don't have to worry about changing that denominator before we add them together. So all we do is we keep the denominator the same. So I'm going to put 12 as my denominator, and I'm just going to add the 10 and the 5 together. Well, when I add a 10 and a 5 together, I get 15. Well, you guys know that 15 twelfths is what's called a improper fraction, right? So we need to reduce that fraction into a mixed number in order to simplify it, okay? Now, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and simplify these fractions, these improper fractions first before we make them a mixed number. It'll just make life a little bit easier on us, okay? All right, so what we have to do is we have to find the biggest number that'll divide into both the 15 and the 12. And probably, hopefully, most people that are watching this video already knows that it is a what? It's a 3, right? Because we can divide a 12 by a 3. We can divide that by 3. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. And 15 divided by 3, right, is what? 5. So now this fraction, this improper fraction, 15 over 12 became 5/4. Those are what's called equal fractions, right? But this one is the simplified version of that improper fraction. But we're not done yet, because we have to take this improper fraction right here, 5/4, and we have to make it what's called a mixed number. Okay, so there's another step that we have to do. Well, we've gone over in class, what does the line on a fraction mean? What does this line mean? It means divided by, right? So 5 divided by 4. So whatever is on the bottom goes outside of the house. So all we're going to do is we're going to take 4 and divide it into 5. Okay? And I'm doing this on the right side of the screen so you can see what I'm doing. So this became this. The reason we're doing that is because we're trying to figure out what that is as a mixed number. So how many times will 4 go into 5? Well, it'll go one time, right? So 4 times 1 is 4, and we have a 1 left. Now, if we're trying to make that a mixed number, all we do is whatever our remainder is right here, I'm going to use a different color. This is our remainder. We put it over that. So 1 and 1/4. And that would be our final answer right there. Okay, oops. So 1 and 1/4. Okay, hopefully I'm going to go ahead and go through that again. Let me erase a little bit. So 5/4 is what our final improper fraction was, right? So this right here, when we added them together, became 5/4. But again, that's not simplified. So what that means is we take 5 and divide it by 4. So 4 goes outside of the house, and we divide it into 5, and we get that goes in there 4 times, or 1 time, sorry, and I have 1, and I take that remainder and I put it over whatever I was dividing by. So 1 1/4. Hopefully that made sense. I'll do the next one in the next video.